Welcome back to Motion 24, where we bring you the most heartwarming stories from the world of entertainment. For over 2 decades, we've watched Amy Roloff navigate the intense highs and public lows of reality TV. We saw her build a life, raise a family, face a painful divorce, and courageously start over. When she married Chris Marek back in 2021, fans rejoiced seeing her find a steady, gentle love. But about 10 months ago, everything changed when they received the most unexpected and joyful news. Amy was pregnant. At an age when most are enjoying grandkids, this couple was preparing for their own little miracle. Today, that miracle has arrived, a healthy baby boy who has filled their world with brand new light. This is more than just a baby announcement. It's a story of second chances, unwavering love, and the power of family. Stick around as we walk through this incredible journey, chapter by chapter. If you love heartwarming family stories, hit that like button and subscribe to Motion 24 for more. To understand the magnitude of today's beautiful news, we have to look back at the foundation Chris Marek and Amy Roloff built together. Meeting at a singles mixer after Amy's public 28-year marriage ended, she was understandably cautious. However, Chris brought a calm, grounded stability into her life, loving Amy simply for who she was. Their 2021 wedding became a beautiful celebration of second chances. Since then, they have built a peaceful, content life in Portland, filling their days with motorcycle trips, cooking videos, and cherished moments with Amy's grandchildren. Yet the human heart always has room for more love. While perfectly happy, Chris and Amy quietly held on to unspoken dreams for their partnership. They protected their privacy from the public eye, focusing entirely on strengthening their bond. Now, destiny has stepped in to rewrite their future. No matter how settled life seems, the universe always has room for breathtaking surprises. For Chris and Amy, that miracle has arrived, beautifully transforming their peaceful marriage into an extraordinary and unexpected new journey of parenthood. Every great adventure starts with a soft whisper, a change in the wind that changes everything. 10 months ago, for Amy and Chris, that switch occurred. It didn't begin with a big news release or a grand pronouncement, but with a private, lovely moment inside their Portland home. They both looked at one another with emotions of astonishment and profound thankfulness when they found out they were having a kid. A pregnancy now at this stage of life is a biological miracle, a rare and valuable gift which appears to be directly commanded by a higher power. The shock was off soon enough to give rise to a protective reflex. Amy and Chris anticipated the public and the media would have lots of questions, opinions, and judgments. With this in mind, they resolved to wrap their joy in total secrecy throughout those fragile first weeks. They wanted to keep this miracle to themselves, to hide the spark of new life from the world outside. In the silent corners of their house, they began to imagine a future they had never dreamed possible. A nursery filled with gentle light, the calm rocking of a cradle, the sound of small feet running up and down the halls. When they finally told their close inner circle, the response was a combination of stunned silence and eruptions of happy tears. The news brought life into their home. They had given up their easy routines for the delightful anticipation of preparing for baby. Rocksteady Chris pushed headlong into his new assignment, fiercely determined to ensuring Amy was comfortable, well-rested, and at peace. They chatted long evenings, they talked of names and the kids' eyes and whose they'd be, and marveled at the strange ways of existence. 10 months, this eager expectation throbbed in the core of their home. With every kick, every doctor's appointment, every solitary prayer, they reinforced the imaginary line that separated them from their unborn kid. They were on the cusp of a brand new universe, waiting with breathless anticipation for the day they would finally hold their miracle in their arms. The months wore on and the reality of what was happening began to really hit home for Amy and Chris in their day-to-day life. Carrying a baby later in life takes a lot of courage, faith, and careful nurture. Amy met the physical challenges of the trek with the trademark resilience fans have admired for decades. But this time, she had a partner who walked alongside her every single step of the way. Chris made their home a wellness sanctuary. He did the heavy lifting, cooked healthy meals, and made space for Amy to focus totally on the sacred work of bringing new life into the world. Meanwhile, the duo drew closer to each other than they had ever been before. They passed hours in the space they had so carefully picked for the nursery, folding little clothing, organizing small shoes. It was a surprising discovery to Chris of a side of himself he had never really explored, the deeply natural protective attitude of a father preparing for his firstborn. Sometimes he would put his palm on Amy's belly and whisper gently to the baby, establishing a spiritual connection before the newborn took his first breath. The world continued on beyond their front door, unaware of the incredible metamorphosis happening in the Merrick home. Amy kept her greatest joy as a well-held secret and continued her online involvement with her followers, sharing her recipes and upbeat attitude on life. The couple could enjoy the pregnancy in their own way, without the pressure of the outside world or comments on the internet. It was a beautiful, sacred bubble of time where it was just Chris and Amy and the growing potential of their child. They learned to embrace the slowness of the days, to find a deep peace in the waiting. They knew the road ahead would be a hard one, but as they saw the nursery fill with toys and blankets, their hearts were full of unflinching trust. Today, the wait was ended. The moment Amy and Chris had dreamed of for 10 months came in a rush of emotion and energy, and time seemed to halt totally still. There was a sensation of anxiousness and excitement that disturbed their tranquil morning as they walked to the hospital. The air was full with prayers and hopes, and the unmistakable magic that is always present when a new human spirit enters the world. Chris never left Amy's side, gripping her hand tightly and offering words of encouragement through every wave of emotion and physical strain. The medical staff worked with cool precision, conscious of the incredible miracle that was taking place in the delivery room. Time began to stretch in a peculiar way. Hours felt like minutes, and minutes like hours, as everybody waited for the final sound that would signal the end of their adventure. And then it happened. Suddenly, a loud, clear cry. The beautiful, triumphant sound of a newborn baby boy taking his first breath of fresh air shattered the hushed tension in the room. At that moment, the tears came freely. The pleasure and joy that washed over Amy and Chris was truly incredible, a wave that in 1 second washed away months of tension and physical strain. The doctors confirmed the baby boy was healthy, strong, and thriving. The caregivers wrapped the youngster in a warm blanket and placed him directly into his mother's arms. A profound, deep hush fell upon the room. Amy looked down at her son's face, and her heart was filled with a love so deep there were no words for it. Chris pulled his face close, wet with tears of sheer delight, and he looked at his wife, and he looked at his new kid with a pride that words could never express. There is magic in the first few hours after a baby is born that can never be ignored. The outside world falls away, and all that remains is the soft breathing of the baby and the wonder in the parents' eyes. Those first hours for Chris and Amy were sheer wonder. They couldn't help but gaze at their little baby, his little fingers, his delicate tuft of hair, the gentle rise and fall of his chest. He was a perfect, immaculate angel, a true embodiment of their love and the incredible journey they had been on together these past few years. Chris was overcome with the profound emotion of fatherhood and knew he wanted to celebrate this monumental milestone with the community that had been there for them through thick and thin. He stepped aside a beat and opened up his Instagram to let the world know the joyous news. He selected some good, intimate photos that really reflected on what their new life was like. Amy, with the baby held close to her heart, his tired look beaming. The baby's other tiny hand clutched onto his finger. Chris shared along with the images a very emotional text announcing the arrival of their healthy baby son. In his statements, there was a deep humility and appreciation, a delight. He said he was in wonder at Amy's incredible fortitude and begged their global family of fans personally for their continued prayers, love, and blessings as they begin this new chapter of fatherhood. In a public statement, he lauded the medical team. The post was a genuine, true photo of a moment of pure human happiness. This wasn't a reality show drama or ratings grab. This was a simple, beautiful announcement of a father's love for his newborn child. Seconds after hitting the publish button, the digital world was frozen, hypnotized by the beautiful images of the tiny angel who had brought so much sunshine into the lives of Chris and Amy. When Chris's Instagram post went up, it sent a huge wave of happiness through the entire internet. Fans have followed Amy's journey for years, cheering her on with every win and standing by her through every difficult battle. It was a touching moment for millions to witness her reach this level of perfect joy. Within minutes, the commentary of the post was a beautiful, overflowing reservoir of good wishes, digital love, and deep sentiment. Congratulations flooded in from all across the world. Amy's story resonated with longtime viewers, who called the miracle child proof that life can surprise you with beautiful new blessings at any age, no matter your prior heartbreaks. Fans posted heartfelt prayers praying for the newborn's wonderful future, full of tremendous happiness and strength to realize his dreams. The good energy was deafening, a digital temple of jubilation. The post was shared across other social media platforms, and the birth became a trending topic of sheer joy. It was one of those rare, beautiful times when the usually sarcastic internet joined together in the joy of a new life coming into the world. News traveled to strangers as if they were neighbors. Blessings on Chris and Amy. The message was simple and powerful. This little boy was entering a world where he was loved by millions of strangers. The reaction from the fans was tremendous, but the day's real emotional resonance came from how the news circulated among the Roloff family's close circles. The public family relations had been difficult in the last few years, strained and often contentious about the farm and the future. But there is one old, undeniable truth in our culture. The birth of a child has a supernatural power to melt away old resentments and heal deep wounds. Shortly after, the entire extended family came together to encircle the new parents in a circle of pure love. Zach and Tori Roloff were the first to answer, telling their mom and Chris how happy they are and how much they love them. They had their own kids and couldn't wait to bring their new little brother into the family fold, looking forward to future playdates and family memories. More deeply, Matt Roloff and Karen Chandler publicly throw aside the shadows of the past with heartfelt, sincere congratulations to the marriage. Their public address was a tremendous show of their maturity and development, with the pleasure of their new existence exceeding all the historical tension. It was a fantastic change in family dynamic, showing that when it comes to celebrating a miracle, the Roloffs are together. In an additional boost to the day's prestige, TLC, the network that has documented Amy's life for more than 20 years, stepped in with its own message of great love and happiness. The whole family's reaction and the network created a wonderful atmosphere of reconciliation. Looking down at the baby boy, even before he could talk, it was certain that his coming was doing something magnificent. He was an excellent bridge to a family that had been broken previously, in lovely harmony of shared joy. New life is the best medicine for healing and unification. The delight of the baby boy's arrival was more than passionate texts and social media remarks. Behind the scenes, what the TLC execs wanted to do was to show Amy how much they appreciated and loved her in a practical, life-changing way. For more than 25 seasons, Amy has been a pillar of the network's success, showing her life with unparalleled honesty and sincerity. TLC wanted to assist the new family celebrate this incredible milestone, so they gave Chris and Amy the amazing gift of $25,000 with no strings attached. It was a great gesture, and much more than just a cash contribution, it was a real recognition of the deep and historic bond between the network and the grandmother of the show. It was a gift to ensure the newborn had the absolute best start to life. A gift that would allow the parents to offer everything from future schooling to immediate comforts for the nursery, without a single care. When they heard of this tremendous blessing, Chris and Amy were profoundly moved by the great goodwill of the network. It just made it more clear to them that they're supported by a great big group of people who genuinely care about them. The gift added another layer of comfort and steadiness in a time so full with emotion. For Amy, it was a beautiful endorsement of her life's work on television, a sign that her willingness to live openly before the cameras had forged a goodwill legacy that was now coming back to bless her newborn baby. When word got out about TLC's generosity, many praised the network for standing by Amy throughout the biggest time of her adult life. The monetary present, coupled with all the love from across the world, meant that Chris and Amy's journey into parenthood began on a glorious wave of prosperity, support, and unlimited positivity, setting the stage for a bright and lovely future for their darling little boy. The first thrill of birth is fading, and understandably, the focus is shifting to the bright future ahead for this remarkable family. This little guy is going into a world so rich of love, history, and so many different experiences. He is the product of two distinct heritages, the mythic, deeply rooted tradition of the Roloff family that millions have loved, and the solid and noble Merrick legacy that Chris lends to the picture. Amy and Chris are especially well qualified to provide this child with an extraordinary childhood of wisdom, strong morals, and boundless experience. This little kid will grow up with the unusual distinction of having a mother who has faced life's greatest problems with grace and a father who is the calm amid the storm, the rock to build on. He'll have older siblings to look up to, plus a slew of nieces and nephews close to his own age who will be his automatic best buddies, companions in crime. Chris and Amy affectionately call their Portland house their little haven, and soon it will be filled with the happy sounds of children laughing, bedtime stories, and first steps. Chris is sure to look forward to the days when he may pass on the values of hard work, curiosity, and respect for nature to his son,